Oceanography is the study of everything in the ocean environment, which covers about 70% of the Earth's surface. Compound of the Greek words oceanos, meaning ocean, and graphos, meaning write, also known as oceanology and marine science. It covers a wide range of topics including marine organisms and ecosystem dynamics, ocean currents, waves, geophysical fluid dynamics, plate tectonics, and the geology of the seafloor, and fluxes of various chemical substances and physical properties within the ocean and across its boundaries. These diverse topics reflect multiple disciplines that oceanographers blend to further knowledge of the world's ocean and understanding of processes. The study of oceanography is divided into different branches. First, the biological oceanography, which investigates the ecology of marine organisms in the context of the physical, chemical, and geological characteristics of their ocean environment. Another is chemical oceanography, the chemistry of the ocean and its chemical interaction with the atmosphere. Next is geological oceanography, the geology of the ocean floor including plate tectonics and paleoceanography. And the last one is the physical oceanography, ocean's physical attributes including temperature, salinity, structure, mixing, surface waves, internal waves, surface tides, internal tides, and current. Humans first acquired knowledge of the waves and currents of the seas and oceans in prehistoric times. Observations on tides were recorded by Aristotle and Strabo. Early exploration of the oceans was primarily for cartography and mainly limited to its surface and the animals that fishermen brought up in nets, though depth soundings by lead line were taken. Although Juan Ponce de Leon in 1513 first identified the Gulf Stream and the current was well known to mariners, Benjamin Franklin made the first scientific study of it and gave it its name. Franklin measured water temperatures during several Atlantic crossings and correctly explained the Gulf Stream's cause. Franklin and Timothy Folger printed the first map of the Gulf Stream in 1769 to 1770. Information on the currents of the Pacific Ocean was gathered by explorers of the late 18th century, including James Cook and Louis Antoine de Bougainville. James Rennell wrote the first scientific textbooks on oceanography, detailing the current flows of the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. During a voyage around the Cape of Good Hope in 1777, he mapped the banks and currents of the Lagunas. He was also the first to understand the nature of intermittent current near the Isle of Sicily. The first superintendent of the United States Naval Observatory in 1842 to 1861, Matthew Fontaine Maury devoted his time to the study of marine meteorology, navigation, and charting prevailing winds and currents. His 1855 textbook, Physical Geography of the Sea, was one of the first comprehensive oceanography studies. Many nations sent oceanographic observations to Maury at the Naval Observatory, where he and his colleagues evaluated the information and distributed the results nationwide. Despite all this, however, human knowledge of the oceans remained confined to the topmost few fathoms of the water and a small amount of the bottom, mainly the shallow areas. Almost nothing was known of the ocean depths. The Royal Navy's efforts to chart all of the world's coastlines in the mid-19th century reinforced the vague that most of the oceans were very deep, although little more was known. As exploration ignited both popular and scientific interest in the polar regions in Africa, so too did the mysteries of the unexplored oceans. Recent technology has allowed people and probes to venture the deepest parts of the ocean, but still, much of the ocean remains unexplored. Ocean acidification describes the decrease in ocean pH that is caused by anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere. Seawater is slightly alkaline and had a pre-industrial pH of about 8.2. More recently, anthropogenic activities have steadily increased the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere. About 30 to 40%, the added CO2 is absorbed by the oceans, forming carbonic acid and lowering the pH now below pH 8.1, through ocean acidification. The pH is expected to reach 7.7 by the year 2100. The current rate of ocean chemistry change seems to be unprecedented in Earth's geological history, making it unclear how well marine ecosystems will adapt to the shifting conditions of the near future. Of particular concern is the manner in which the combination of acidification with the expected additional stressors of higher temperatures and lower oxygen levels will impact the seas. Since the early ocean expeditions in oceanography, a major interest was the study of the ocean currents and temperature measurements. The tides, the Coriolis effect, changes in direction and strength of wind, salinity and temperature are the main factors determining ocean currents. The thermohaline circulation, thermo referring to temperature and halin referring to salt content, connects 4 of 5 basins and is primarily dependent on the density of seawater. Ocean currents, such as Gulf Stream, are wind-driven surface currents. Oceanic heat content refers also to the heat stored in the ocean heat plate. An important role in sea level rise because of thermal expansion. Ocean warming accounts for 90% of the energy accumulation from global warming between 1971 and 2010. And of course, there are 5 known oceans in the world: the Pacific, the Indian, the Atlantic, the Arctic, and the Antarctic. Good day.